Welcome to Giant Ability TV.
The judiciary occupies an important place in a democratic government, being regarded as the last hope of the common man. It is saddening to note that the position occupied by the judiciary about what it represents to the downtrodden and the vulnerable has been altered, leaving the common man hopeless and helpless. The presidential candidates of PDP and Labour Party, namely Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the former Vice President of Nigeria, and Mr. Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State, approached the Supreme Court in Nigeria on 19 September 2023, where Mr. Peter Obi filed in an appeal on 51 grounds, and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the PDP did file an appeal on 35 grounds against the earlier judgment delivered by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal held on the 6th of September 2023. That affirmed the declaration of Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress Party as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Approaching the Supreme Court, which reserves the final judgment on any matters, was not because of the trust they had in Apex Court or for its integrity, but to fulfill all righteousness and exhaust all the available legal processes needed to seek redress. Recall that the Supreme Court had earlier set a precedent by a controversial judgment on January 30th, 2023 that affirmed Senator Ahmed Lawan as a senatorial candidate for Yobe North. This judgment did not go down well with most Nigerians, and it was like forcing a pill through one's throat. And this was just one of many such controversial judgments delivered from the Supreme Court, which is regarded as the apex court in the country. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. Abraham Lincoln. It is interesting to note with nostalgia how the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been going about marketing the country Nigeria outside the shores of the country to attract investors to the country. Some of these efforts can be seen in the meetings he held on the side in India at the G20 summit. He stopped over at the United Arab Emirates, where he discussed the issue of the visa ban imposed on Nigerians, as well as the suspension of flights, especially the United Emirates airline, to and fro Nigeria, and his most recent meetings on the side at the 78th United Nations General Assembly that is being held currently in New York, where he met with the South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa and the King of Jordan Abdullah II bin Al Hussein. The truth that needs to be told is that this aforementioned meeting would have been considered laudable and commendable, except for the fact that Tinubu ignored the connection between the important place of the rule of law and the influx of foreign investments into the country. It is common knowledge to know that no investor, especially foreigners, would want to come to a place or country where they have no confidence in the judiciary. This, to a perceptive mind, is to say that the judiciary in Nigeria is an obstacle to the flow of foreign investments to the country. This applies also to local investments, because there is no right-thinking investor that would want to invest in a place where there is no assurance of justice, in case there is a need to seek it. This is failure number one. Charity, they say, begins at home, and as one lays his bed, so will he lie on it. Mr. Tinubu should be commended for being busy and not productive. Nigerians are admonished to prepare for the worst outcomes concerning the appeal filed by both the presidential candidate of the PDP and the Labour Party. This is not because there is no strong evidence to support their claims about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but simply because the eyes of the world are on the Nigerian judiciary, and to this end, it only makes sense to allow the institution to rope itself. For instance, a competent court of jurisdiction in the state of Illinois, United States of America, has ordered the Chicago State University to provide to Atiku Abubakar, the former Vice President of Nigeria, all relevant academic documents relating to Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's attendance of the university in 2 days from Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. This, without gainsaying the fact, will serve as the last straw that will break the camel's back. This support received from the United States of America in matters about the eligibility of Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he contested the February 25, 2023 election will leave no stone unturned in putting the controversy of more than 20 years about Bola Ahmed Tinubu's academic qualifications to rest. This is, to say the least, is ridiculous and a show of shame, not only to Bola Ahmed Tinubu in particular, but to Nigeria as a country in general. This is a country where we have millions of its citizens with double master's degrees, and millions of them also with doctoral degrees. Why then should it be a problem to have our president-to-be involved in a scandal that has to do with academic qualifications? The true end of education is not only to make the young learned, but to make them love learning. Not only to make them industrious, but to make them love industry. Not only to make them virtuous, but to make them love virtue. Not only to make them just, but to make them hunger and thirst after justice. John Ruskin. The highly respected Professor Wole Soyinka and the Nobel laureate, the hero and an idol of many in Nigeria, is in the news again as it descended on the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi in particular, and all the obedience in general. It seemed to have gone too far by insinuating that the Labour Party did not come close to winning the presidential election of February 25, 2023, let alone winning it. He described what he believes the obedients are trying to do, which is trying to steal what does not belong to them by making false claims, and these he described in the Yoruba language as gbajue. I said, days should speak, and a multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Job 32, 7-9. It is in our DNA, especially those of us the obedience from the south, whether west, east, or south, to respect our elders, because respect begets respect, and one turn deserves another. The elders too are expected to be cautious by avoiding careless talks, especially those that can infuriate the younger ones. What Professor Wole Soyinka said concerning the obedience leaves much to be desired, and it is believed that he will think through it and do the needful. Not all those in the Labour Party are obedient, but there are millions of those who are obedient who are not card-carrying members of the Labour Party.
These recent elections, Peter Obi achieved something remarkable there, that he broke that mold. Yes, however, he did not win the election. In addition, my own organization has a monitoring unit. You know the one I'm talking about. And so I could say categorically that Peter Obi's party came third, not even second. And that the leadership knew it. But they wanted to do what we call in Yoruba, gbajue. That is, you know, you have force of arms. You also have force of lies. And it was gearing up towards violence. They were going to send some of the hardliners, were going to send crowds, young people into the streets to demonstrate.
These are those who are victims of vote suppression and trauma of various kinds, and to this end, using words to malign them is, to say the least, unfortunate. Whether the obedients are the Gbajuas or the All Progressives Congress Party and Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, only time will tell. Examine carefully and reconsider all your notions of things, analyze them, and discover their component parts, and see if habit and prejudice are not the principal ones. Weigh the matter upon which you are to form your opinion in the equal and important scales of reason. Lord Chesterfield. On a final note, congratulations to the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on his inaugural outing at the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York. The speech he read was well crafted. The areas touched in the speech are revolutionary as well as contradictory, raising issues of corruption, injustice, unfair treatment, as well as bad governance is like the popular saying among the Yorubas that when one points one finger to somebody, the remaining four fingers are automatically pointing towards them. This, in other words, is like the case of a physician that needs to heal himself first. The advanced countries are just playing along since our choice is to borrow their system of government and subject ourselves to manipulations in different spheres of our lives. Who then is to blame?
Nations saw that it was in their own interest to help others exceed the rubbles and wasteland of war. Reliable and significant assistance allowed countries emaciated by war to grow into a strong and productive society. The period was a high water mark for trust in global institutions and the belief that humanity had learned the necessary lessons to move forward in global solidarity and harmony. Today, for several decades, Africa has been asking for the same level of political commitment and devotion of resource that described the Marshall Plan. We realize that underlying conditions and causes of economic challenges facing today's Africa are significantly different from those of post-war Europe. We are not asking for identical programs and actions. What we seek is an equal, firm commitment to partnership. We seek enhanced international cooperation with African nations to achieve the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals. There are 5 points I want to highlight. First, if this year's theme is to have any importance at all and any impact, global institutions, other nations, and their private sector actors must see Africa as a development priority.
We should not forget that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Good point raised, but when the fox preaches, one should look to his geese. The surest way to get a thing in this life is to be prepared for doing without it, to the exclusion even of hope. Jane Welsh Carroll. Napoleon I also admonishes that we should unite for the public safety if we would remain an independent nation. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.